Hi guys, it's Wendy with Ask The Landlady. I'm here with all the tips and tricks to help you make a profit in real estate rentals. Check out my books on Amazon. I tell you all the tips and tricks of what to do, and I'm just realizing how wrinkled my coat is. I apologize for that. Sorry about that. What a bad view, Wendy. Anyway, I'm not changing now because I'm halfway into this. And today's question that I'm going to talk about is, am I allowed to fine tenants for breaking my rules? Fine, F-I-N-E. Can I assess fines on my tenants? Which is, in today's day and world, there's so many, special assessments and fines. And, if you don't pay something on time, there's a fine. There's all sorts of things. There's parking fines and administrative fees. We're all kind of getting used to that system. And I know I'd love to hear in the comments. I know some of you are going to be mad about this. You're going to be like, oh, we're gouging them. But this is for a specific purpose, usually to deter bad behavior or to get something done that won't get done. Like these tires have been sitting on the lawn forever and you've already told them to clean them up and they're not doing it. You can assess that fine. Or they're supposed to mow the lawn and they're not mowing the lawn and you have to send somebody over to mow it. You can charge them for that mowing and an administrative fine because it took your time, right? You're working a full-time job. Why should you have to use your time and efforts to do all this and let somebody get by with something that they should be taking care of from the beginning? So let's step back a minute and talk about these fines. You can't obviously fine for some things like just the fact that they have paid, that they have turned you into the city health department or they're talking smack on you. You can't fine them for some things like that, some capricious things. You want to be really careful about why you would assess an additional fee. Like you can have a late fee, right? That's kind of a fine because you haven't paid your rent on time. If they repeatedly violate noise regulations and you warn them, you can assess a fine. Putting trash in the backyard and not cleaning it up, parking on the lawn, not cleaning up after their pets, all those types of things, putting stuff in the common areas, clogging up your toilet, and causing plumbing issues. All those things can be fine. The one thing that you want to be very specific and make careful of is that you have specific evidence. You can't just find somebody willy-nilly because you think they're the one who put the trash out there. You need to know they put the trash out there. You look in there and you see their name on some paperwork in there. Okay, you did that. You have a camera outside that sees them doing something, then yes. If it's a single family home and that toilet got clogged, obviously they're responsible for it. So you have to have that evidence in there. And usually if a plumber came out and they assessed that, oh yeah, somebody threw some diapers down into your toilet tank. Okay, they did that, right? So that can be fined and you want to have that all documented. You also want to have a list in your lease or an addendum that tenants can be fined for these specific issues. There can't be any surprises because courts are not going to look favorably upon you on these landlord fines if they're forced upon tenants without warning or just capriciously with, just out of the blue because they didn't know. You have to give them specific warnings and have that documentation. And you want to be able to enforce it fairly with all your tenants. You can't fine one person for not cleaning up after their pet, but then letting this nice little old lady get by with it just because she pays her rent on time and that person doesn't. You can't. That stuff has to be above board. If one person gets a fine for that, everybody gets a fine. You have to treat everybody fairly on those issues. So again, let me say that again, treat everybody fairly. You don't take the late fee off one person just because you like them. If you're applying late fees, they got to be applied across the board to everyone. Because again, if you got hauled into court for that, it would be a terrible fair housing violation. So yes, you can fine your tenants for doing some terrible things like not paying their rent on time and leaving trash everywhere, not mowing the lawn when they're supposed to, stuffing a bunch of kitty litter down your toilet. There can be fines in place, but again, get evidence, document carefully, make sure it's in your lease and that there are no surprises to that tenant. So there you have it. Have you fined your tenant? Has it been successful? I'd love to hear about it. Shoot a comment down there so we can talk about it. And as always, hit like and subscribe. Thank you. You guys are the best. Have a good day.